Emo.
We weren't able to get a hold of the other two, so we're gonna do a little fuck it short show. This will be, I guess, the reboot. I'll delete the old episode because that went over badly. We forgot about the audio problems. So, Gmo, you bring up the topic and we'll go from there.
All right. Well, it had to be either yesterday or the day before, but it leaked that Marvel was looking into taking Professor X and Magneto and changing them into people of color. Now, this was very polarizing. You had, some people were for it, some people were against it. And, it said, all right, well, Professor X, whatever. Magneto, though, was the real lightning rod among a lot of people.
Yeah, considering his like fucked up origins too.
Right. Do you think that it could even be done, like if they wanted to change, let's say, because they just said person of color. So I know we automatically go, especially with the era that we're in.
Yeah, we're gonna assume black.
It's cool to be black. You're right. It's cool to be black now. I'm like, damn. I wish this would have happened 20 years ago when I was growing up. I wish it would have been cool to be
so
black.
if let's say they did, how would you if let's say Magneto was black and you got to write it, how would you have his origin be? You probably wouldn't be that he's a Holocaust survivor, I'm guessing.
Yeah, you can do that. You can still do that.
I mean, yeah, the Germans did exterminate a lot of people that weren't just Jewish, but I don't know. I'd probably change it up a little bit.
There were a lot of there were black Jews as well that they were hunted down and exterminated in North Africa.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that
about a lot.
Yeah, that I know too. But I'm talking about like I would have like even said it to like a more modern thing. Like, let's say he was, think of it, because now the MCU set in a modern setting, right?
I'd still keep him Holocaust survivor. It's just
you would.
I'd still do that. I'd still keep it there.
See, I would set it. In my opinion, I would because the MCU is set in a more modern setting. I would give it a more modern, a more modern origin. Like something from history that, like something like the something similar to the Holocaust that happened fairly recently.
I mean, you could just do like Captain America. I mean, Captain America's still a World War II guy, but I mean, he got frozen or some shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's comics. I'd find a creative way of, keeping a Holocaust survivor alive. Maybe he got frozen. I don't know. Maybe the Infinity Gauntlet warped him or some shit. I don't know, but
yeah,
I think that because that character Magneto is so symbolic to Jewish people, I think changing his origins would be some bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Also, he's also one of Marvel's top best villains too,
exactly.
In my opinion.
Exactly. That's like if we take the Joker, they like to fuck around with his origins a lot. We're gonna do a Joker origin story, and then every Batman fan is like, no, do not do that. We don't need an origin story. Part of the magic of the Joker is we don't know.
Yeah,
leave him the fuck alone.
Yeah, that's the best part about the Joker.
Right. But they always try to do that. So it's like I wouldn't change his origin story. That's one of the things that makes him such an iconic character.
Yeah,
is his origin story.
All the suffering he saw as a child branched over in his view on humanity.
Right, because it's like, what are we gonna do? Oh, police brutality made Magneto this way. It's like,
not even then though.
It's not even.
You could actually probably do something similar. You remember how like in Black Panther with Killmonger, like his origin kind of thing, all the shit. But like you don't. It doesn't. Hey, he doesn't have to be American though.
Yeah, but that's that's such a whole different concept from.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I would just keep it the way it is. It's like there's nothing wrong with Magneto being black because I mean it's not put out in the media all the time, except maybe 2-3 black Jews. But I mean we got Lenny Kravitz, we got Drake, But it's like, I mean it's not put out there a lot, but there are black Jews, and there historically were black Jews.
Yeah.
That were put in the Holocaust as well. It's not talked about a lot for whatever reason.
Well, actually, there was a genocide of Africans though too in the First World War with the German Empire too that not a lot of people talk about.
Mm-hmm. Right, it's never really talked about.
Yeah, no, because not most of the world doesn't know about it.
Right, and that's one of the things where it's like, well, you can't get mad if someone says there weren't no black Jews. You just, hit the Google search and send them a link, and then just
there's a whole group of is there a special congregation in Africa like they think they were like the lost Israelites?
Yeah. I think I forgot where it is. Maybe Libya or some shit. But
yeah, it's something like that.
I have to do my research on it. I'm not trying to mislead folks, but
I remember reading the thing about that.
It's so rarely talked about and put out there that you can't get mad when folks get, oh, ain't no black Jew. It's like, yes, there is. You just probably weren't taught about them.
Yeah,
so
there's people of
black,
there's people of faith in every race, regardless of the faith.
Right, and that's a very big misconception that folks grow up with. Like, I remember growing up, like, I didn't know if Jew was a race. I didn't know if it was a person. I didn't know what it was until
it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. Like, there's ethnic Jews and there's like people that like, you know, like like their families are Jewish, you know, and they married into it and shit like that.
Right.
It's really, when you think about it, Jewish is a lifestyle as much as it is a faith or a race.
Right. So it's always a weird thing when it comes to the Jewish community. But that was one of the biggest things I personally saw, where folks was like, okay, make them black, but keep them Jewish. We don't care what you do, but just keep them Jewish. That's basically what the biggest thing from that side I kept seeing. And I agree. Personally, do I think Magneto should be changed to a black character or an Asian character or a Latino character? No. I think he should stay the way the fuck he is. But since I have no control or power over it, if they were to make him black, Holocaust survivor, it would still fit.
Oh yeah, totally.
But one thing I saw was they're trying to get Denzel Washington to play him, which I'm like, well, you know what? If that does happen, I think a lot of people would shut the fuck up, because everybody know Denzel gonna get that work too.
If he could channel his character from American Gangster for that role, that would actually be kind of cool, because he was the shit in that movie.
Denzel plays historical characters very well. Like
Malcolm X. Oh my God, yeah.
Enough said, right. So yeah, if Denzel's playing him, I think that's the part where everybody shuts up, because it's like you have certain actors that just transcend their race. Like Al Pacino's one.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like a black Neo to me would feel weird, but like a black Professor X, I feel like would fit a little bit better.
That's the thing. Black Professor X is just. Black Professor X, the whole origin story of everything changes to me. It doesn't change that much, but it still changes. You can't be no black man in the 1950s in a wheelchair roll up. I'd like to buy this property. No. Well, I'm trying to make a score for the gifted. Fuck you. No.
We don't want. Yeah, we don't. They'd be really channeling Clint Eastwood
around here.
Yeah, they're channeling. Like, was that Clint Eastwood movie that came out fairly recently, where he's got the Asian kid with him?
Oh, Gran Torino.
Yeah, that'd be a real get off my lawn kind of vibe.
Oh yeah, so it's like, I mean, you could read deals where Professor X was like, I have to brainwash these motherfuckers to give me a bank loan. Now I got to brainwash the motherfucker to own the land and sell me the land. It'd be a whole lot of brainwashing, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, well,
unless they're gonna do it Mickey Mouse style, where there was no racism in the 50s or the 40s or the 60s. No, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, if they do it that Mickey Mouse way, then cool, but let's be real. Nah, they can't do it that way, because X-Men as a whole is built and based off the Civil Rights Movement.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's kind of an outdated metaphor for the Civil Rights Movement, but it's still a metaphor.
Yeah.
Like, cause like in the 2000s when the movies came out, it was because Bryan Singer made it a thing about gay people instead of about civil rights, because that was fitting for the time.
Right. It's just, I think making Professor X black, it would be funny to watch them, try to retcon everything, or I mean, both would be funny, but Magneto actually fits. Professor X, I don't know if it fits though.
Yeah,
because it changes. It changes a lot when you think about the climate he had to move and operate in.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, he'd have to do a whole lot of brainwashing. A whole lot of brainwashing. Let's be real. I don't want to use my power, but you had to use your power to get basically everything, man. They ain't just gonna give you no big mansion or no X-Jet, bro. They gonna give a black man the big X-Jet? Like, no. I would like to buy the Blackbird. Fuck no.
They'd be like, who the fuck are you? Get out of here.
Go up to Canada. Hey, Wolverine, I want you to join my team. Why is this black man up here? Oh, yo, run away. We got you, bro. Like, it changes so much shit.
Yeah.
If you make
Honestly,
Professor X black.
you'd have to do a bunch of recastings for other characters.
Yeah.
Like here's a good one. You'd have honestly, but that's the case too. You'd have to make Storm Wakandan. You'd have to do that because that's where she's from in the comics. Like you'd have to do shit like that.
To touch on Storm, and this is what gets me about shit. When people say, "Oh, well, it's just a comic character," y'all shouldn't get mad about them changing the race of a fictional character. I'm like, if they said we're gonna make Storm white, there would be an uproar. Mm-hmm. There would be a fucking uproar.
Can you imagine if Killmonger was biracial, like his mother was white? I don't think it would work.
No, it wouldn't. It just wouldn't work. Yeah. It would be one of those. Oh, that's ironic, but
yeah, it would be ironic for a comedic effect, but considering Black Panther had such a serious tone to it, if it was like an Iron Man movie, that would have worked because like that would have fit in like the sense of humor that's in the Iron Man films. But it doesn't work for like a more serious tone movie.
It would depend on how his mom was. Like if his mom was on some.
Well, yeah, he grew up in Oakland. He grew up in Oakland. Yeah, so like.
Oakland, so if his mom was white, Asian, or whatever, it's like it could still work, but she can't be no like Mary Poppins level white woman. Like no. Like no, hell no, that wouldn't work for Killmonger.
No, it wouldn't at all. It'd be funny. It would have been kind of funny, but like it would have taken away from the tone of the film.
But it's like to go deeper on this. So I'd say I'm not supporting them doing this, but I'm not totally against them doing this because they're gonna do what the fuck they want to do anyway. I think we've learned that. Yeah. Especially from the Little Mermaid shit. But if you're a grown man and you want to rage about this, I can't clown you for it. Now the Little Mermaid shit, I'm clowning you for if you were a grown man raging over that.
Yeah, okay, like first off, mermaids don't fucking exist. Like that's the first thing.
Second off, it's a girl's cartoon.
Yeah.
It's a girl's cartoon. Like I get, some girl shit we watch on the low, and it's just dope. Lizzie McGuire was originally a girl's cartoon, but it was so dope, motherfuckers watched it anyway. Powerpuff Girls started off that way, but it was so dope, everyone fucked with it. Kim Possible, okay. But the Little Mermaid, there is no way a man explaining he watches the Little Mermaid.
Nope. No. Like literally, yeah. If you're like a little boy and you watch it as a kid, that's different.
Well, that's different. That's a little boy watching it, yeah. But
yeah, like every little like unless you have kids, it's a little weird.
Yeah. If you got like a little kid or some shit, yeah, I watched it with my kids or my niece or my nephew. That's one thing. But if you're a grown man on the internet, y'all need to leave the Little Mermaid alone. You're a grown man mad about the Little Mermaid. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Now, your wife or your girlfriend mad at it, that's one thing. And it's like, well, my 5-year-old daughter, man, no, she's not. Little 5-year-old girl does not give a fuck about the Little Mermaid being black, red, orange, or purple. They don't care.
Yeah, no, here's my thing with casting for the Little Mermaid. Can the girl sing? That's all I care about.
I don't agree with the recasting her either. I want to put that out there. I don't agree with it, but I'm not going to rage about that shit, because I'm not going to be the one paying to go see the fucking shit.
Yeah, but anyway, like I said, though, the only thing that really matters at the end of the day, because that was the kind of the point of the story, was that she could sing afterwards. Like, she could sing before she lost her voice. So can the girl sing? Okay, there you go.
You know what? If I ever get bored, I'm going to go on YouTube, and I'm just going to search for, grown men raging about the Little Mermaid and just leave a big L in their comment section. You get an L. You get an L. Because you're a grown man raging about the fucking Little Mermaid, dude. Like, if it's like the Hunchback of Notre Dame or, a man movie or even a gender-neutral movie. And you're raging about that, gargoyles, something. But the Little fucking Mermaid, no.
Yeah.
Just no. That's like if they say, we're going to make Barbie black. And grown men, y'all don't be making Barbie black. Barbie's for fucking girls, dude.
Yeah. Speaking of which, how funny is that? How funny was that when Amy Schumer got kind of dropped out of that role? Because they were doing a live-action Barbie movie, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, Amy Schumer was supposed to be the lead, but she dropped out.
Oh. Wonder why? Because that's some big bank money that she probably left behind.
I don't know if she did it willingly or they decided to get rid of her, or... Because it was after she made that comment that she sexually assaulted a dude.
Well, damn, a lot of men would have definitely want to seen that shit.
Especially a lot of little girls. Considering Barbie's one of the few girls' toys that actually sells.
Yeah. I mean... The thing is, if grown men want to rage about them changing the race of an X-Men character, I'm here for it. I feel your pain. I don't think they should change the race of characters to begin with. I think that same energy should be put into her just making an all-new character.
Well, yeah, that was like remember how stupid people sounded because they wanted, like, when Iron Fist was being made, they're like, oh, they should cast an Asian person, and it's like, why?
No.
He was a white dude in the comics, and besides, the show was trash anyway.
Well, anyone who wants an Asian Iron Fist, just go to Netflix and look up Wu Assassins. That's the real Asian Iron Fist. That shit was dope as fuck. But nah, just changing the character's race. Just make an all new character, man. Just do that.
Yeah, it's the best thing you could do.
Yeah, you get a brand new, fresh world that no one really knows, and you can really do what the fuck you want to do with it.
Yeah, that's the problem. No one wants to do anything. That's the problem. No one wants to do anything creative. They want to take something existing and make changes to it. Which, I mean, a couple of changes here and there is one thing, but completely changing certain aspects of a story, it's not really original.
Right. It's like, like when a writer or anyone who designs or creates something, when you make something or create something, you put certain stuff on it for a damn reason. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know what? We're gonna reboot Luke Cage with a white guy. Like,
see, and that wouldn't work at all.
It wouldn't work. Yeah, I mean, you could, he's Luke Cage, but he's from the trailer of 8 Mile. Like, still, you just need to change the name, dog.
Well, remember the whole thing too? Like, everyone was giving Luke, remember, like, you and I talked about it briefly, not in the show, but like outside of it, where like people were like, oh, it was like white dudes were pissed at like how many musical numbers were in each episode. But like, and they didn't realize why, how what the significance of the cultural aspect of the music was. And it's like,
but no, you got it.
No, yeah, no, that was the whole point of it, because the whole thing about like Luke Cage was it was a thing for empowerment for black men in America. That's what it was about, well, black people in particular, and that's what the whole point of the music was. Like they were playing blues, R&B, soul, stuff like that, and they put it there for a creative reason.
Right. But if you like, I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna change this character, it's like, you're better off just creating a whole new character. It's okay to take inspiration and influence from a character.
Yeah,
if you want to make a bulky white dude with bulletproof skin, cool. But don't call him Luke Cage,
Yep. Remember when Tarantino
make something all new?
Remember like when that article came out that Tarantino said he was approached to a Luke Cage movie in the 90s? How fucking awesome would that have been? Oh yeah, dude.
When the first crazy.
Dude, well, that's the thing. Like he actually did an interview after the first season of Luke Cage came out, and he actually addressed his criticisms and what he would have done differently, because he wanted it to be straight out of like the 70s, not like the setting, but like it would have. He said he would have made it feel like a blaxploitation film.
Oh, see, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, he could redo that second half of the first season, but leave everything else alone.
Yeah, no, but like for instance, like he said, like he would have Power Man, he would have kept him as Power Man instead of Luke Cage. But one of the things he said he also would have done was he would have kept it to his original costume, not like how he is now.
Nah, I'm good. He could redo that second half of the first season only. The first half of the first season, nah, don't touch that, Tarantino. Season 2, nope, don't touch that. But the first half, the Diamondback shit, he can redo that.
Yeah, that was
if
garbage.
He wants to redo the Diamondback shit, I'm good with it. But everything else, leave alone.
That was hot garbage.
It was terrible.
Like, honestly, I think out of all, like, the worst of Marvel Netflix, it was probably Iron Fist Season 1, the whole thing of the Defenders, and the second half of Season 1 of Luke Cage. Like, that was all the worst.
Cool. I think I'm the only person who probably liked Defenders. I like Defenders. Defenders is cool.
See, no, my problem was the Hand. They were just a boring villain. They were boring villains, and none of them had, like, consistent motives. Like, remember, like, who was the one guy in the Hand? The black dude that actually beat Luke Cage in a fight? Like, he went nowhere. It's like, oh, they actually have a way to beat Luke Cage other than Judas bullets, which they realized didn't work anyway. You know what I mean?
I completely forgot. I just remember Jessica Jones beating up Iron Fist and making him into a little bitch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when I looked at Defenders, all I wanted to see was them come together. And that's what I got, so I was cool with it. You know, all the hand and all that shit, I didn't care about all that.
Well, let's say, well, like, to me, like, especially, like, an iconic villains as the Hand are in the comics, like, it was just disappointing for me. Especially what they did with, like, Elektra. Like, that was a bunch of bullshit.
Right.
Although,
with Elektra, even in Daredevil, Elektra wasn't, you know, this wasn't the Elektra that, you know, folks really wanted, but it wasn't terrible.
Yeah, so, but I feel like she was kind of.
Yeah.
I feel like she was. I feel like the whole second half of season 2 of Daredevil was like an afterthought. But it's like,
definitely.
Like they were able to condense the entire Punisher arc in like 6 episodes, and they're like, oh shit, we have like 6 more episodes. We have like 6 or 7 more episodes we need to like figure out. Oh, and we're also doing the Defenders, so we got to figure out a way to kind of at least hint that the Hand's gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was also kind of lazy too, because then it's like. What was it? Yeah, then they weren't shown in Jessica Jones season 2 anything about Luke Cage, nothing really until the Iron Fist.
You know, me and Unc Irv talked about this. Which characters can you change the race and folks wouldn't get mad about it? And we just kind of went down a list and was like, nope, can't change him. Yeah, you can change him. Yep, change him. No, can't change him. Like, which ones do you think can be changed?
The ones that definitely did work, like in real life, that they done was like Spider-Man's a good example. Miles Morales, because Miles Morales is a pretty well received character when it comes to people like characters like Spider-Man.
But the thing about it with that is that it's already in the comics.
Yeah,
I'm talking a character who.
Oh, I see what you mean.
In the comics that they've been changed. There's nothing written that they've been changed, but if they changed them, no one would really care.
Probably Captain America.
Well, Captain America. Yeah, but I don't know.
Well, I think you can make Captain America really whatever, because not just the character like Steve Rogers himself, but the concept of Captain America.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got the Falcon right there, though. But,
I know, but I mean, like, just like Captain America as a concept. Let's say, like, set the setting to World War I, and it was like the Harlem Hellfighters, and Captain America was Henry Johnson. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay, I get what you mean. Yeah. Okay. That works, yeah. If they were to, like, reboot the series with a whole new, this is the Black Captain America. And, yeah, okay.
Yeah, like, look at me, I am the captain now.
I mean, yeah, I could buy it.
Captain America, because Captain America, you could do with, like, even, like, biracial, you can have him be, like, Latino, you can have him be Asian, you can have him really be whatever.
That would be the smart way of doing it, like with Captain America, what you're talking about doing is, this is a whole new story. You know, Captain America's more of a rank or, you know, a title than an actual person.
Yeah, it's like Thor in Marvel Comics. Thor's more of a title.
Right. So, yeah, if it was done that way with a dope story to it, I don't think folks would complain like that. But if it's like, you're going to take on this character, tell the exact same story as that character.
Well, not
you know, switch his race up.
Probably Batman you can do that with for comic book characters.
Hell no.
Batman, really?
Batman. Fuck no.
I think you could do Batman.
No.
Really?
No. There can never be another Batman except Bruce Wayne. I don't care. Well, you know, this dude took up the Batman. I don't care. I'm not paying to see no one but Bruce Wayne.
No, it could still be Bruce Wayne. It could be like, you know, he could be black, or like, you know, he could be like Latino, or you know what I mean.
How the fuck would a black Bruce Wayne even work, man?
I'm pretty sure there's a writer that can make that work. Comics can certainly like.
It ain't gonna work, dog.
It ain't gonna work.
Let's see. Who else could you?
Billionaire playboy black dude. You'd have the feds in that man's house every day.
Oh, actually, you know what? Moon Knight.
Well, yeah, Moon Knight's not that big of a character like that.
Well, not as far as pop culture wise, but comics.
Yeah, not as far as pop culture.
And considering that a lot of his origins have to do with like Egyptian mythology and shit, you could literally have that be a black dude, no problem.
But if you switched them, like if someone said, "We're gonna take Moon Knight and make him Hispanic," would that work?
Probably. Because the whole point is though too he has multiple personalities. He's a schizophrenic.
Okay.
So that could work.
If you switch Deadpool's race, I don't think no one would care.
No, because it's Deadpool. He's literally the reason why you never see his face much anyway in the comics is because he has cancer and he's covered in tumors. So that could really work either way.
Yeah, so it works regardless with Deadpool. Like if they do an origin story, and he started as an Asian dude and got the tumors, or he was a Latino dude had the tumors.
Yeah.
No one would care with Deadpool.
And actually, they've actually swapped out race. They swapped out races with a lot of characters anyway in comic books. You remember the Hellboy movies?
Mm-hmm.
The white dude that was like his caretaker. In the comics, he's Asian.
Oh, but that's like a minor character though, man. Like don't nobody like.
Well, to us, yes, but in the Hellboy comics, he's a major character. Obviously, in the first half of the comic, because the second half of the comic of the whole dead Hellboy series is he's in hell, literally. So you know,
like certain characters, I don't think it would work. Like if they switched Alfred and they made Alfred black, bruh. I'll be mad.
That would be fucked up.
Alfred, and they switched Alfred and made him black or Latino.
That would be so fucked up.
It would be so fucked up. So, like I said, don't fuck with Batman. Just leave Batman alone.
Oh, you can make one of the Robins probably black.
But then he's gonna be the subservient Neverland Ranch kid.
but you get what I'm saying, though, right?
Nightwing you might be able to get away with.
It could be any of the Robins, really. It could be Tim Drake, it could be Jason Todd, it could be, it could be any of them.
Because if we go to the story of Nightwing, coming up in the circus and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nightwing, it might be able to work. If you took Nightwing and flipped his race, yeah.
Yeah, you can make that work.
I'd still be against them doing that shit, but with Nightwing it works because it doesn't affect the story too much with him. But Bruce Wayne, you can't be, he was the first black billionaire in Gotham. Bruh, feds be in that man's house every day. A black billionaire in what, the 20s, 30s, 40s? Shit, even the 2000s, bro. Alfred ain't gonna be the only motherfucker in that house. Bruce Wayne gonna wake up, police, where the money at, Bruce?
Can you imagine though, like if Alfred was a black dude? Oh my god, like he'd probably be like, what's his face in Fresh Prince?
Oh, Jeffrey from Fresh Prince.
Yeah, that's the only way it could work. Because in a way, actually, kind of in a way, Jeffrey kind of was in a way. Like he had that snarky attitude that he had.
And he was badass on the low, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know that the context of it's really in poor taste, but
the context would be very fucked up. So yeah, but damn.
It would be beyond fucked up.
It would too. So man, I'm trying to think. Who else could you flip? Fantastic Four. Is there anyone you could flip? Because
probably Ben Grimm. Probably Ben Grimm. Ben Grimm, the Thing.
Yeah, with Ben Grimm it don't matter because he turns into the Thing anyway. So
yeah.
Reed Richards.
Nah.
Could that work?
Nah, probably not.
Because does it affect his story in it? Because I don't know a lot about the Fantastic Four like that, but scientist, black dude in the 40s, 50s, or whatever.
Nah, that probably wouldn't work. I'm trying to think other characters.
We've already seen that was a disaster.
What about Daredevil? Daredevil wouldn't work. Gets her in the neighborhood he grew up in.
Hell's Kitchen? Oh.
Yeah, Hell's Kitchen around that time. Yeah, but Hell's Kitchen around that time was really Irish. Yeah, no, but Hell's Kitchen was an Irish neighborhood back then. Like, super Irish.
Right. So, yeah, Daredevil, I don't know, because he's blind, though, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Ain't no one gonna whip on a blind dude like that, man, like they may fuck with him, but once they realize he's blind, they might leave his ass the fuck alone.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm trying to think. What's another one?
Might work. I'm gonna put a big maybe next to Daredevil.
I mean, you could do it with Iron Fist theoretically if you made him Asian. It could work.
Right? Yeah, Iron Fist you could do it, and it probably still work.
Because there are other Iron Fists though too. He's not the only one in the comics.
Wonder Woman.
I mean, yeah. You could do that.
I don't know, man. She's too iconic of a character.
Oh yeah, no, but I'm talking the concept of Wonder Woman though. Superman, they did already before. They've already done.
This is bullshit.
And I hate Superman, but no.
Well, that's it. Well, no, like in Earth 2, there's two Supermen. The current because the original Superman was killed by Darkseid's forces.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Superman that replaced him was the son of General Zod. Zod just happened to have been black on Krypton. So yeah, the son of General Zod became in those comics was black.
Wonder Woman, though. I don't know. I don't think it would work. It doesn't change her story at all. Like.
Yeah, DC Comics is harder to do, I think, because the time they were made in.
Yeah, it's like
the thing with Wonder Woman is whether she's Latina, Black, Asian, or white, or even Indian, it doesn't change her origin story at all because she was born as a goddess and everything.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really change her origin story regardless. But I don't know. That's one of those characters where it's too big to change anything.
Yep.
I think.
You couldn't really do it with the Flash. I don't feel like it would work with the Flash. With the Flash, for some reason with the Flash, it would feel lazy.
Like, let's say if they made the Flash Mexican. How would that change his origin story?
I feel like someone would take it that out of context and make like, oh, what? Because he's always running from like immigration or something. Like someone would make a fucked up joke out of that.
Someone would. Or if they made him black, it'd be some shit too. So.
Yeah, I mean there was Wally West. There's a version of Wally West that's black and it's in the comics, but that's a different
con. Not to laugh that they made the Flash black. I'm trying not to laugh at that shit.
No, not the Flash. It was it's what? All right, so obviously like there's the Wally West in the comics. It's his younger cousin that just happens to be named Wally West as well. Actually, I think he's biracial. I think he's half black. But that was a recent thing they did.
Could you change the race of Gambit, and would it affect his origin story or anything?
Not really, because considering that like he's French, you could easily have that be he lives in New Orleans, the French Quarter.
Right.
Where a lot of black people and white people live, so that could work.
It'd work with Gambit, because you could just...
Hell, you could make it mix. You could have him be half black, half white, and that would work.
Creole, yeah. You could have him Creole.
Yeah, you could easily do that. You could easily do that with Gambit. Rogue, maybe. Rasputin, you can't, because you can't with Rasputin or his sister, Magic. You can't really do that with either of them, because obviously part of them being Russians, part of their past.
Because she's Mystique's daughter and everything. So yeah, you could do that with her.
You could do that. You could do that. I'm trying to think who else. You could probably do it with who's his face there? Who's the Nightcrawler? You could probably do it with Nightcrawler. Actually, that wouldn't really work. No, actually, that wouldn't really work considering who his father is. Because don't forget, his mother's Mystique, but his father's Azrael.
I thought Mystique was the catch-all of everything. Let me think.
Let me try thinking of one more before we talk about something else.
Wolverine, I don't think you could change Wolverine.
No, you couldn't. Wolverine's. I think Wolverine's a bit too iconic.
He's too iconic. Yeah, he's too iconic to change.
Punisher, I don't think it would work.
Nah, his name's Frank Castle. Ain't no damn black person running around named Frank Castle. Let's be serious.
But even then, you could even change his name or whatever. It still wouldn't really work. Like, it's the concept. Like for some reason at the time the Punisher created, I think it would have been more socially acceptable if there was, like, at least at the time of his creation, which was, like, what, the 70s? It was, it probably would have been more socially acceptable for a white vigilante to be gunning down gangsters than a black dude. At least for the context of, like, the 70s and 60s when he was created. I'm trying to think what else. Plus, I feel like if you made him black today, like, people would have a fucking fit online. Especially, like, the people that the All Lives Matter people. Not saying any names. I'm not gonna lie, that's scary when I see people that are cops that have Punisher shit. That scares the shit out of me. Like, oh, you idolize this, and you know me, I'm a diehard Punisher fan. That scares me when I see cops with that shit. Like, bro, you're like saying you like the idea of a violent sociopath for a model of justice.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, certain characters it works for. Like the iconic ones, it's best to just leave them the fuck alone.
Yep.
But certain characters, like they're not main characters; they're more like side characters.
Yeah, we're better with side characters.
But
I'm trying to think of another one that could work. I'm gonna try to think of one more. Hang on. Nah, that wouldn't work. God damn, it's right there on the tip of my tongue too.
even a lot of villains, it wouldn't work with changing.
Oh, hell no, it wouldn't.
But you can't change Bane, because Bane can't change him. Ra's al Ghul, no.
No.
Wouldn't work.
That wouldn't work at all.
Dr. Octopus.
And Doc Ock, maybe.
Doc Ock, maybe, yeah. Maybe you can get away with Doc Ock. Norman Osborn, nope. Gotta leave him alone.
Mm-hmm.
Too iconic. Too iconic.
Yeah, considering he's like his most... probably... no, not him. Sandman, maybe.
You changed Eddie Brock?
Sandman,
Eddie Brock,
maybe.
If you changed Eddie Brock...
Maybe. That might work.
Eddie Brock might work, yeah, that might work.
Yeah, because the whole thing is that he's a serial killer. Well, he's a psycho. He's a psychopath. Like Bullseye. Actually, Bullseye, that might work. Now that I think about it, Bullseye might be one that could work.
Yeah. You know what? That's fucked up, because it's like switching the race of villains works a lot better than switching the race of heroes. That's fucked up.
Yeah, it is a little weird now that I think about it. Now that I think
at it. That you think about it, yeah, because it's like if you take Eddie Brock, you know, he worked at the newspaper, they humiliated him, made him a horse boy and all that other shit.
Although Eddie Brock often keeps jumping back and forth between villain and hero though too, or anti-hero.
Right. But yeah, but he's more of an anti-hero. So it's like if you took Eddie Brock and made him Asian, black, or Hispanic, or
yeah, like Eddie Brock teamed up with the Punisher.
Yeah, it would work. Yeah, you could change Venom. Yeah, you could change Venom if you wanted to.
Well, plus Venom. Don't forget Venom. Venom's the symbiote, not even Eddie Brock, because other people have had the symbiote too. Yeah, like Scorpion.
If you change Eddie Brock, I don't think it would be that big of a deal.
Yeah, Scorpion was his host for a while. Hell, even a fucking Flash Thompson, Peter Parker's bully, was Agent Venom for like what, 15 years?
But one villain, I don't think you could change his race is Cletus Cassidy. I think you gotta leave him the way he is.
Cletus Cassidy's a bit.
Yeah, you gotta leave him. You gotta leave him the way he is.
Yeah.
Crazy red-headed white dude, leave him the way he is. Don't change him.
Yeah. Actually, it's really funny. Someone pointed out to me how, like, in a lot of comic book related stuff, that when they would race swap, they'd swap out redheads for like black people. Like take the Flash TV show. Iris West, his wife, she's black in the show, but in the comic she's a redhead. Wally West in the show is black, or another redhead. Can you imagine like the uproar from Spider-Man fans if they did that with Mary Jane?
Did they try to do that shit?
I don't think so. Oh no, they did. Yeah, with what's her face? Yeah, they did.
Zendaya, yeah. They didn't do it, but they did do it.
Yeah, they
Mary Jane, but
yeah, they hinted at someone like Mary Jane, because she obviously wasn't Gwen Stacy.
Right. Wow, that's funny. I never thought about that, but yeah, they always swap the redheads with the black people. That's fucked up.
It is. Although it's like I actually point out to somebody that you
so
like
the Green Goblin in the future is gonna be a black dude. I'm writing that down. Norman and Harry Osborn are gonna be black.
Although I will say the best version of Green Goblin was definitely Willem Dafoe playing him.
alone talk about Spider-Man the other day. Ooh. Oh man, because they tried to say that Sony is trash at making Spider-Man movies. And I told them, no, you can't say that. Because
No,
the
that's the
most
thing.
iconic Spider-Man films came from Sony.
Yeah, the first two, yeah. Everything else after that was trash. And I can, although
Hey, the third one wasn't complete trash.
no, it's passable. It's passable.
It's passable until you get the Venom. That's the only thing that fucked that movie.
Yeah, well, Venom was thrown in.
Everything else-
Venom was thrown in after the script was written. Sam Raimi just wanted it to be Sandman and Harry Osborn.
Yeah, Sandman was cool. That shit was cool.
But Sam Raimi said multiple times, like, I didn't want Venom to be in there. Like, he didn't want anything mentioned of Venom, but because Venom's such a popular character, that's why he was put in. Because Sony was like, no, we need to throw this character in there, make it work.
And it fucking showed. I mean, the thing with Venom is the ending with Venom was cool. It's just the motherfucker they got the. Well, we don't have to go too into it because motherfuckers already know. But
Oh yeah.
the third movie was not total garbage.
No, it's. I think it's because like it's just how people reacted to it.
Right. Because it's like if you were to go back and rewatch it now.
You know, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as people made it out to be.
It's not as bad as the Electro movie, Amazing Spider-Man 2. That
Honestly,
shit
both those
was
movies
cool.
really weren't that great.
The first one was cool. It was alright. You know, with the
Honestly though, it doesn't hold up that well if you go back and watch it.
Like I could get through the one with the lizard, but Electro, no, I can't get through that shit. The motherfucker
Yeah, that
was
was.
nice as hell to see Electro.
Yeah, that was weird. That was a weird one. Especially what they did with like, I mean, like for instance, like I knew like right from this, like when the first trailers came out, me and a few friends saw it, and we're like, I'm like, oh, I already know what's gonna happen. They go, what? I go, Gwen Stacy's gonna die. I'm like, what? No way. I'm like, bro, they put in Harry Osborn finally. Like he's gonna fucking kill Gwen Stacy.
Man.
And I called it too.
Like when people say, "Oh well," it was a vid that Unc made basically where he was talking about the CEO of Sony saying, when the CEO said we don't need the MCU, never really needed the MCU, and you know a lot of fans was like, "Oh, he's full of shit." I'm like, "No, he's not." To be honest.
Well, here's the thing. All right, so here's the thing that what I gathered from all that. The reason why Sony backed out of thing with the MCU is because Marvel wanted a bigger cut of the box office returns, which Sony was already saying, fuck no, we're ponying up all the money to get these movies made, and you're not doing anything and just raking in the profits.
Mm-hmm.
So I side with Disney, not Disney, with Sony in that regard.
And the thing is, people will go, "Oh, well, the quality." I'm like, if we're talking Spider-Man standalone movies, no, you can't say that shit.
Because it's like, what are you gonna pick? Are you gonna pick Homecoming and Far From Home, or are you gonna pick Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I think the reason why Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home work so well is because there's already a, you know what I mean? We already had those other movies which made it feel refreshing and a nice change of pace. Because, like, no one wanted another fucking origin story for Peter Parker anyway, again.
Right, but I think the thing with a lot of fans, what they're doing is they're taking the Avenger movies and they're trying to take those and lump those in with the solo Spider-Man. And I'm like, no. If we're talking Spider-Man by himself, Homecoming and Far From Home are nowhere near as good
as the first two. No way. Oh, no, they're not. No, they're not.
No, not even close. Yeah. So to sit up
they're a different type of Spider-Man film.
Yeah, but to sit up here and say, "Oh, Sony needs the MCU," they don't know what they're doing. I'm like, they obviously knew something because them Tobey Maguire movies are still the best ones.
Yeah.
They still are. All
Not to mention
later,
the casting choices were phenomenal.
Except maybe Kirsten Dunst.
No, but even like Norman Osborn, Willem Dafoe, phenomenal. J.K. Simmons as fucking J. Jonah Jameson. That was one of the best castings, like the two best castings in comic book films.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, and I laugh at everyone getting mad because y'all need to know why y'all fucking up the MCU. I'm like, y'all talk all that shit about Sony all these years saying Sony know what the fuck they doing with Spider-Man, and then Sony just gave y'all the finger, and now y'all mad at it. So I found the whole shit funny.
Oh yeah, it's I don't know. I'm siding with Sony on it. I can see. I hope they actually keep Tom Holland though as Spider-Man because he was actually really good. He's a great Peter Parker.
Yeah, he's real good.
Yeah, like he's my favorite, but it's a very close. It's a very close. It's almost tied between him and Tobey Maguire.
Hell no, that boy ain't nowhere near Tobey. Hell no, not yet. Not yet. He's good, but
you know what I mean though. Like he had, like it felt like, but like it worked because he actually was like around the age anyway, so it works. Like he had like that enthusiasm a teenager would have if he had like superpowers. You know what I mean?
I'm thinking that everyone's still looking at him in the Avenger movies.
But even then though, no. But even go to his solo films. Go to the 2 solo films. Like you can tell like he's having a blast while he's doing it. Which works.
I like him, but not like Tobey, man. Like Tobey Maguire is just a whole different tier. But they're, like we pointed out, they're playing 2 different ages. You know, Tobey was like college age, and Holland's like high school age. So
yeah. Well, I think Tobey Maguire was when the first one came out, 2002.
Yeah, like 2001, 2002, around that time.
Let me look it up. While I do this, how old?
Tobey Maguire, man, he's still the best Spider-Man, man. Just like Christopher Reeves is still the best Superman, even though they've done a million other ones for him. It's like,
well, let's see, he was born in 1975. So from 2002 to 2007. So I gotta do the math on that.
The thing with Tobey Maguire to me was he felt the most like Peter Parker because it's like
he was 27. He was 27 when the first one came out. He was my age.
When I saw Tobey Maguire, there was no cool factor to him. He was, the goofy, kind of brainy guy. You felt that when you looked at him. But when you look at Tom Holland, yeah, he is those things, but there's still a cool factor to him. And I'm like, there was nothing cool about Peter Parker, man.
Well, in his solo films, he is the dork.
Yeah, but it's like Tobey just played it way better than me. Like Tobey,
well, you know why though too? It was a different time. Like in America 20 years ago, especially in terms of filmmaking, not just like as far as social climate. Like tone-wise, everything was different 20 years ago than it is now. Like teenagers then, and compared to like when we were growing up, well, I was 10 when the first one came out, but like I grew up in the 2000s. I was a 90s kid. I was a teenager in the 2000s. So like think of how different it was then when we were teenagers and like kids compared to what kids and teenagers are like now. It's two totally different things. Like think about it. Like when did the first iPhone come out? 2007, 2008? When the first iPhone came out.
Yeah, about 2008, I think.
I was in high school still. So that was a fucking game, and not everyone had them either.
Right.
That's one of those things where it's like you have to think about, like, in terms of technology, how much things change because, like, little inventions like that.
I get that, but it's like if you're playing the character, you're supposed to feel like that character. I understand, changing with the times in some cases, but it's like Michael Keaton still feels like the best Bruce Wayne to me, and I put Christian Bale as number 2.
Yeah.
It's like, because you have to capture that character, even if it's an old character.
Michael Keaton was kind of fun though too as Batman.
Yeah. Which is odd because it's like no one would expect. It's just I don't know because it's like Bruce Wayne, the man's a billionaire, man. Like he's not dead serious every 5 seconds, man. Like he's kind of chilling about his business and shit. I think Christian Bale had the look more. He looked the most like Bruce Wayne, I'd say.
Yeah, no, Christian Bale was the best Bruce Wayne, I think, but the best Batman was Michael Keaton. Christian Bale was a horrible Batman. With that fucking cult,
he was cool.
No, he had the voice alone, bro. Come on.
It was cool. I had to get used to it. The voice grew on me. Like when you first started doing that shit, I was like,
I still laugh at that shit. Where's Harvey Dent? The fucking.
I mean, from a realistic standpoint, I get it because it's like he disguised this way, so motherfuckers can find.
Yeah, no, but see, that's the thing. If he had that much money, he would do what fucking Green Arrow did in the TV show. Yeah, he would do like what Ben Affleck did as Batman in the Batman, like like those horrible Justice League movies. But you see what I mean?
I mean, yeah, but it's like I understand the beauty behind the madness. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he just forgot to get on Amazon and get a voice changer or some shit there. But
although I will say the best Batman film, in my opinion, was the one with Heath Ledger where he played the Joker. That was the best Batman movie ever.
No.
Really? You don't think so?
Hell no.
I thought that was perfect.
They're gonna throw me in the fire for this because to me it's like every other thing besides Heath Ledger in that movie you can just skip. You can just skip.
Yeah, but that alone though it was way better than the fucking the one after that and the one previous to it. Like everyone's like saying like Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy is the best, which I don't personally think so, but I think The Dark Knight was one of the best Batman movies ever.
As a trilogy, yeah, the Nolan trilogy, yeah, is the best one.
No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is really. I thought the first one was boring and the second one was like it treated you like you were stupid. No, I thought it was stupid.
All three were good. All three were good to me. All three were good. I think they could have done Ra's al Ghul better though. Like they really screwed the pooch on Ra's al Ghul, but the movie was still straight.
Yeah.
Bane, I didn't like I don't like how they did Talia and Bane in the end. But
yeah, that was weird. Although the way they did Bane was weird too in those movies.
Yeah, I just didn't like him being the yes boy at the end. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, instead of having him be his own thing.
Right. You know, putting Talia in there was cool, but I just felt like they could have executed it better. But to me, the best Batman film is Batman Returns. People are probably gonna want to drag me now and stone me to death, but
wait, which
Batman
one?
Returns to me is the best one.
Was that the second one with Michael Keaton? The one with Danny DeVito?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, that's a good. That's a perfectly legit. That one's perfectly legit. That's a good. That's a good movie in a lot of ways.
I'll go from start to finish with that and never get tired of it. You know, the thing with Dark Knight is when people talk about the Dark Knight movie, they say Heath Ledger's performance, man. Heath Ledger's performance, man. Heath Ledger's performance, man. I'm like, that's the only thing you can really point to. But when you look at certain other ones, you can point to the entire film as a whole.
Well, I mean, like the stunt choreography in that movie, like the action sequences were really good. The story was okay, but like the not just Heath Ledger's performance, overall the performances were great in that movie as well. Gary Oldman as Detective Gordon was great. Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent was phenomenal.
I could fall asleep through half that movie and just wake up for the Joker scenes and be entertained. I mean, I'm just telling the truth, man. I'm a Batman stan, man, but it's like when I go back to Batman Returns, I can point out Danny DeVito nailed it.
Oh,
Selena
fuck
Kyle,
yeah.
Catwoman nailed
Michelle
it.
Pfeiffer. Oh my god, that was
just on point. Every single person on the screen was on point the whole movie.
And honestly, Michelle Pfeiffer fucking sold that role. Like
She's the best Catwoman we've seen.
Not only did she look fucking gorgeous in that movie, but she played it really well.
Yeah, that's what I point to. I point to the fact that you had all these multiple characters, and everyone was at their A game. You never, like, people in the other movies, you could say, okay, yeah, he was cool, he was alright. No one was a scrub. But when you go to Batman Returns, everyone's on their A game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's when people go, well, the original Batman. I'm like, Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale. I'm like, I get Vicky Vale as a role player, man, but like, come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
the one thing I will say in the Nolan trilogy that I hated, who was the love interest in the first two? Rachel, right? Rachel.
The first one, it was Katie Holmes, and then they switched it to Maggie Gyllenhaal, which.
But still, either way,
for me.
her character just wasn't that. I found completely uninteresting though in those movies.
Yeah, I mean, when it was Katie Holmes, I was cool with it, but when they switched it to Maggie Gyllenhaal, I was like, what the fuck, man? No. They shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. It was just a weird... It was... I mean, like I said, I didn't care for her character much anyway. I get, like, the purpose her character served, but, like, I could have lived with it. I could have lived without that character, just as in general.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't this compelling, you know, Cersei, Arya Stark type chick, but, I mean, she served her purpose.
She wasn't supposed to be this compelling character. Because it's like, look at, she barely had any time on the screen, to be honest, man.
Yeah, but the amount of impact she had on those films, like, especially The Dark Knight.
Especially the second one, yeah. Especially the second one, yeah. It's just...
Plus, not to mention, she kept hopping dick between Harvey and Bruce.
It's just the person they picked to play her, man. If they would have had a chick that was drop dead gorgeous, people would have understood it more. If you got Harvey Dent and Bruce Wayne, this billionaire playboy who can fuck any chick in Gotham he wants, but he only wants her, and you look at her, you're like, what the fuck you want her for?
Oh, here we go. All right, here.
It just didn't add up.
Speaking of Batman casting choices, here's a great one. Who was your favorite Alfred out of the live-action Batmans? I would say Jeremy Irons from the current like with Ben Affleck as Batman. He had the sense of humor in everything that he had. Michael Caine was a little too serious because obviously, you know, Alfred had a sense of humor to him, which Jeremy Irons had in spades. Like, he was perfectly snarky with Bruce when he needed to be.
Because it's like, with Alfred, it's like so much of how the actual script is, you know, denotes it, but it's like, see, with Alfred, it's gonna be so looks-based with me, man, because it's like, which one had the look of Alfred?
Probably the original Alfred, then I would say from the Michael Keaton ones.
I'm gonna go back probably to the Tim Burton movies, because it's like,
yeah, but as far
he's barely there, yeah.
Yeah, but Alfred's kind of a big part of his life, though. But like, as far as like the performances, I'm talking about the performance, I'm giving it to Jeremy Irons.
Well, yeah, you'd have to go with the Christopher Nolan Alfred then, because he had the most screen time.
No, Michael Caine though. But Michael Caine's was too serious in tone. Like, Alfred was kind of the comic relief character in a way, but also like a guiding voice for Bruce.
Yeah, but the thing with me with Alfred is, Alfred pops up. This is what we're doing, Bruce. This is what we're doing, Bruce. And that's it, really, most of the time when you see him in the movies.
Yeah, but in the comic books, it's different.
Yeah, but it's like, movie-wise, it's like, we don't get to see that much of Alfred except in the Nolan series.
No, you see,
actually telling Bruce.
No, well, Batman vs Superman and fucking Justice League, he has a pretty good.
That movie is a tragedy, man.
Yeah, but still,
you can understand why I'm like, no.
Actually, although I will say though, with those movies, while they are horribly written, they actually have good casts, for the most part. Like, everyone on DC, like, for picking Batman, he really wasn't that bad of a Batman.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if I had to pick Alfred, like, I mean, picking the best Alfred, I'm probably gonna go based off the look. And it's probably gonna be the original, no, not Nolan, but Tim Burton Robin. Probably gonna be one of those. Justice League one, it's like
those were just. I mean, yeah, they were bad, but yeah.
But Alfred's not meant to be like he pops up, gives Bruce some advice, helps him do his fucking job as Batman. You know, go. Well,
that's what Jeremy Irons did as Alfred, though. Like in those movies, like he did exactly what he did in the comic books. He was him to a T.
He just didn't have a look to me, man. Like,
oh, not the look, no, but everything else.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like Mr. Rogers on crack in the damn Justice League ones. He just, I don't know, man. Like the one to capture Alfred the most, the Nolan Batman, Alfred.
No, Michael Caine. He was too serious.
He was dick riding. He was dick riding that damn third one.
Look at his speed, his ferociousness. Alfred, why you dick riding? Just dick riding. Like, stop dick riding Bane, bro. What you doing, man? You supposed to be on my side. So, yeah, I mean, he fit Alfred the most to me. But it's like, I don't know, even I can even go later to like, even Batman and Robin's Alfred was pretty damn good because he just did what Alfred did. So he just sat in the Batcave.
Although Batman and Robin, he did his whole plot device is what drove the movie forward too.
Yeah, probably that one. Yeah, give me the one from Batman and Robin if I had to pick one, because he had the look and you know he was giving advice. He was serious, but he was helping out Master Robin. Can't be kissing bitches. Don't be fucking them hoes, Master Robin. So yeah. Yeah, give me that one. Whoever played him in that god awful movie.
I'm still gonna. No, it's actually funny about that one. George Clooney actually told people, like, if you come up to him with with an actual movie ticket from that film and give it to him, he will refund you out of his own pocket.
I don't blame him. I mean, there ain't nothing wrong, so I ain't worried. He ain't worried about it. But
well, the only reason why they made that movie was because of just to sell toys. That's literally it.
Yeah. I want that Mr. Freeze toy. Everyone wanted that Mr. Freeze.
That was although you know what, as garbage that movie was, Arnold was actually really great in that role because how over the top he was.
Yeah.
The ice puns killed the dinosaurs. The Ice Age. Like, you see him doing stupid shit like that.
I can actually sit through that movie again. Now Batman Forever. No, I can't.
Oof. The one with Jim. That's the one with Jim Carrey and Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones, or maybe we got them backwards. We might have those two reversed.
That's Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones. That is the worst Batman movie to ever come out.
Oh wait, hang on one second.
Forever.
Hang on one second. I gotta do some audio wise real quick. Hang on 1 second. So we gotta pause it. All right, we're good now. Sorry.
All right. Yeah, Batman and Robin gets a bad rap, but Batman Forever is the worst Batman movie ever made. You can't even sit through that whole thing without Batman and Robin is so crazy and off the rails. You can at least sit through and be entertained enough to stay awake.
Yeah. Also, don't forget that, like I said, they were for kids. It's like thinking, like, because I know you lived in Japan, so you've seen it a lot. Godzilla is a big like fucking franchise over in Japan. It had its fans in America, but like when the '98 Godzilla came out, the one with that garbage one with Matthew Broderick, that clearly wasn't made for adult fans of Godzilla. That was made for children.
I mean, you can make something for kids, and it could still not be a snooze fest, though. That's the thing.
I know. Well, here's the thing. Like when I was a kid, I loved Godzilla movies, but like, I liked Godzilla '98 as a kid, and I realized, oh god, this is like objectively a horrible movie. But in some ways, it is kind of funny because, like, especially if you think of it as a different monster. Like, no, this isn't fucking Godzilla.
I mean, certain shit is like, it's cool as a kid, but you still can enjoy it to a certain point. Like,
oh yeah,
Mortal Kombat Annihilation was one of the greatest movies in the world to me as a kid. But man, it's like,
oof, okay, what is this? Yeah, you're like, oof, I can't believe I enjoyed this that much.
Enjoy it, yeah.
No, but although I will say, the first Mortal Kombat though was the shit.
Young kid me would have picked Annihilation over the first one.
Oh yeah, because there's more action.
Right. But grown man me will pick the first one. It's just with Mortal Kombat Annihilation, it's just there were more characters that I actually liked.
Like you had Jax and everybody else in it. And plus that was when Mortal Kombat Annihilation had a different director. Now that I think about it.
I mean, you had Jade in there, Shao Kahn. No one takes Shang Tsung seriously as a villain. I don't care what they tell you. Shang Tsung is a little bitch. No one takes him seriously as a bad guy.
Nope.
Yeah, so it's like, when the first one came out, we already, I think, playing Mortal Kombat 2. We know Shang Tsung ain't the man. Because even if you played the first one, Goro was tougher than him, so...
Yeah, but even, there's only one great villain in Mortal Kombat anyway, and that's Shao Kahn. That's it. Like, it's him or nobody.
Oh, you gotta go with Shinnok, too. Shinnok goes
okay, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Okay, I'll give you that.
Shinnok and Motaro. I'll put Motaro there, definitely.
But as far as, like, main villains, yeah, that's it.
You talking about, like, the head villain. Oh, yeah, Shinnok, too, yeah. Shinnok and Shao Kahn, the only two. Everyone else is pretty trash. So what they had, Blaze for one, he was trash.
Yep.
Onaga the Dragon King was garbage.
Not to mention how fucking impossible he was to fight in that one Mortal Kombat game he was in. Because, like, no matter how... Although you always won anyway, because his fatality was he committed suicide. But, like, it was just... You just couldn't beat him in a fight.
Even the new one, Chronica, is trash to me. I'm like...
I haven't bothered with a Mortal Kombat game, I think, since, like, 2004.
The new one's good. It's good.
See, that's the thing, I just don't find fighting games exciting anymore.
So you wouldn't get on Super Smash Brothers?
Nah, see, that's the thing, I only liked Melee. That was the only Super Smash Brothers game that I liked.
The new one's worth it. The new one's worth it. I'll put anything on it.
I remember you were telling me that story about how at your campus that one dude beat the shit out of that other dude in the game room because he kept playing that one character and kept knocking him off the...
Yeah.
And then ever since then,
was funny.
Yeah, and ever since then they banned it. They banned that character.
Yeah. They brought it back. They brought it back, but yeah, it was a lot of rage quitting because of Isabel, man. But now that they don't put so many new characters in the game and they're just adding more,
yeah,
it's crazy. They put Banjo-Kazooie in that shit. I'm like, bruh, it's a wrap now.
Banjo-Kazooie, Jesus Christ.
Banjo is a fucking monster in that game, man. He's the Undertaker of the game, basically.
Oh, Jesus. So that's the thing, like, I'm not crazy about Nintendo games as much anymore now that I'm an adult.
I think that once you get on the sticks and actually play it, you'll understand why people go so crazy.
Well, like, for instance, like you and I've talked about it, I've never been a Zelda fan. Never. Couldn't get into them.
A lot of people don't rock with Zelda like that. Some guys just aren't in, that style of game.
Like, I could still pick up Mario 64 and still play it and have a good time, but Banjo-Kazooie, same thing. Banjo-Kazooie was fun. I don't know, I just can't get into Zelda games. Which is weird, because I like fantasy RPGs, and you figure, like, oh, that should be my shit then, but no, there's something about Zelda I can't get into.
Yeah, some people just don't fuck with Zelda.
Yeah.
There's a lot of games like that. Like, you would think that they were your forte or your taste, but you pick them up and play them, for whatever reason, it just don't work.
Actually, no, here was what I always thought was a weird addition to games like that. When they added Solid Snake into Smash Brothers. That was a fucking weird choice.
He's a beast if you know how to use him.
But still, I mean, for like a character choice, though, that's fucking weird.
It's weird at first, but then once you actually play with him and play against him, you're like, yeah, it fits. It fits. They got his movements, they got all his moves in there, and it fits. So, yeah, on paper it looks weird, but when you actually play the game, you're like, okay, I see why they did that.
Yeah, because they added him in what, Brawl?
I think so. See, I skipped after Melee. I skipped everything up to this new one.
See, the only reason why I knew about Brawl was because everyone and their fucking mother, except for me, had like a Wii. So
I'm thinking about getting the Switch. I ain't gonna lie. I'm thinking about getting one.
I think the only reason why I would get like some throwback games that I don't have, that might be the only reason why I get it. I would get one. Now, see, what I want to do is bring back some Game Boy Advance games. I would play the shit out of those on the Switch.
They brought back the Super Nintendo games.
Yeah, no, but like I'm more like GBA was my shit.
Yeah,
like, bro, if they brought back Fire Emblem 6, 7, and 8 on that, oh my god, I'd be all over that fucking shit. I love those games. Fire Emblem 7.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for 64 to get put on there. Once they put the Nintendo 64 on there, I'm probably gonna be.
Oh, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, fuck yeah.
For real, like 64 had the best catalog out of all of them.
Oh yeah.
Except
the only thing that
had the best catalog.
Well, no. At that time the 64 was out. It was PS1. So like, in some ways, like the PS1 did have some better games.
PS1 had a lot of trash games.
Oh, they had a lot of great. They had a lot of great ones though.
Most games, but it had the most trash games. Like Dreamcast had the least games, but I don't know. Like Dreamcast was hit or miss with a lot of its games.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Dreamcast. That was so fucking weird that it couldn't play. Am I the only one that thought it was weird that the Dreamcast is as quote unquote advances of a console as it was? It couldn't play fucking DVDs.
Oh yeah, I thought that was weird too.
Like people say, like, okay, like here for instance, do you remember, like, all right, because I know you lived in Japan for a while, you might have watched them. Did you ever watch the Heisei Gamera movies from the Heisei trilogy?
Nah.
Well, in like the second one, I think it's Attack of Legion. They actually like measure Gamera's power, quote unquote, using a Dreamcast. It's like, wait a minute, you need to tell me you could measure his mana, like his power, with a fucking Dreamcast, but the thing can't play DVDs?
Dreamcast was a dope console, man. Like you could go to
Oh,
some
yeah.
games now, and they're so iconic.
Well, don't forget though too. Like Resident Evil Code Veronica originally came out only for the
Yep.
yeah, but it did well enough to the point where they're like, oh yeah, we should make a PlayStation and a GameCube port too.
Yeah, man. Code
Which
Veronica was something though.
I will say,
That's
oh
probably my
shit,
favorite. That's probably one of my favorites. It's easily one of my top 3.
yeah, I will say that what the hell was it? The game series that played the best on a specific console was any Resident Evil game on the GameCube. There was just something about, I think it was I don't know if it was the controller or the way the game's handled, but I feel like it played better on the GameCube than any other console, Resident Evil.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
It was just something, I think, honestly, I think it was just the way the GameCube controller was.
It could be, but yeah, like it definitely played better. Like from 4, 0, remake, yeah, they all played a lot better on that. Plus the graphics were a lot smoother.
Yeah.
Weren't as blocky, so yeah, I definitely agree with that. GameCube was the best console we've seen for Resident. Even the Resident Evils now don't feel as smooth as the GameCube stick does.
No, although the games have been switching tones though too. So
yeah, but even the controls, they just don't feel as smooth.
No,
it just felt so smooth to play.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like in my opinion, as far I like 7, but I'm not counting 7. I think the last great Resident Evil game was probably 4.
I put 5 up there.
5 was a fun co-op game, but it was more like a Resident Evil action title than it was like a horror game.
That's the same as 4. It's the same as 4 though.
Yeah, but 5 had a whole co-op thing going with it though. Like you know what I mean? Even if it was like an AI character, there was someone to help you fight. You weren't fighting hordes of enemies really by yourself, except that one level where you had Luis with you.
I don't know, like with Resident Evil, like if we're talking pure Resident Evil, the last really good one, probably the remake. The GameCube remake.
Oh, the first one.
Yeah, the remake they did on the GameCube. That's probably the best one they ever did.
Yeah, that was, and you can still get it. Like right now, I think it's on sale. It's on sale in the PlayStation Store, I think, right now. For PS4.
I just might get it, bro. I'm thinking about.
I got it. I literally have every main Resident Evil game on my PlayStation right now.
I think I've got 3, and
no, except for Nemesis. I'm sorry, because Nemesis isn't on there. The Resident Evil 2 remake though was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, that's the one I want to play. Like people are like, oh, you want?
Dude, it should be. It might be on sale.
That's what I'm waiting. I'm waiting for this.
No, I think it's on sale. I think it's on sale right now in the PlayStation Store.
What, 2?
Yeah, the remake.
Okay, I have to look into that because if it is,
dude, like once Mr. X comes into play, whether you're playing as Leon or Claire, you want to use your gun sparingly because no matter where he is in the map, he will find you once you start shooting. Like he just knows to zero in on you, and he is fucking terrifying.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun when I finally get it.
Yeah.
Just like Sekiro was actually what kind of
yeah. Oh, by the way, if you actually want to use ink ribbons in the game, you have to play in the highest difficulty. Otherwise, you're allowed any other difficulty. You're allowed unlimited saves, which is kind of bullshit. But ammo like literally, you don't get a ton of ammo in the game until the very end.
Which is how it always has been for the most part.
Well, that's because that's like you'll do 4 like mini bosses in a row.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. Maybe that's why I didn't like. It's not that I dislike 4. 4 is a classic. It's not that I dislike 5. I think 5's up there too. It's just
they were very different. They were very different games. They were action toned.
Yeah, so it's like when people go, "Oh, well, 4 is the GOAT." I'm like, no.
Well, I mean, as far as like innovation and gameplay, oh, Resident Evil 4 was fucking phenomenal.
Right.
But as far as like the most terrifying, it's easily like 1 through 3.
Yeah, it's like, you know, which game embodies what Resident Evil is. I'm like, number 1, easily, the remake they did on GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
Or Code Veronica.
Yeah, Code. Okay, yeah. Because Code Veronica was technically the real Resident Evil 4 originally.
Mm-hmm. Code Veronica really gave you some tough ass choices to make. So.
Mm-hmm. Plus, not to mention, like that game didn't hold your. It was like, it was like Resident Evil 1 and 2. It didn't hold your hand. Like you had to figure, like the cutscenes didn't really. It kind of gave you an idea of what you had to do, but like Resident Evil 3, it told you exactly what you had to do. You just had to get there. Code Veronica 1 and 2, it was like, no, like motherfucker, we're gonna give you a hint of what you gotta do, and you gotta get there on your own, and figure shit out along the way.
A lot of people will give the crown to 2. But and they're not wrong to do that. But if I'm picking, you know, which Resident Evil, I'm probably gonna go with the remake, just because it's more difficult and it's scarier.
Yeah.
But it's like with 2, it's like 2's good. I like 2, and I think people choose it just because of the.
Well, I think it was because like. Well, not even that. It's not even that. I think the reason why a lot of people pick it though as well is purely because of the fact that like they took what worked in Resident Evil 1 and improved on it.
Right. I just like the remake, man, because it's like the original.
Yeah, and they added new shit.
Yeah, the original blocky Resident Evil 1 I never played.
Oh, I did.
The first one I played was actually 2. So I went from 2. Played Nemesis, got the shit scared out of me from the cutscene.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I should probably establish, like, yeah, like, Resident Evil, like, the first Resident Evil I did play before I played the remake, but my first Resident Evil game was Resident Evil 3 when it came out in '99.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, like, the Nemesis, I had fucking nightmares in the Nemesis, man.
I didn't even make it to the Nemesis when I first picked it up, you know, because they had that opening cutscene.
Yep.
And people gotta remember, those graphics were cutting edge at the time.
Yeah, dude.
That shit scared the fuck out of me. I turned that game off midway through the first cutscene. I'm like, no, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah, we seen the police get overrun and shit.
Yeah, when the police are getting overrun and shit, yeah, it scared the shit out of me, man. I was like, nope, I'm good. That's when you be like, take out the garbage. You like, nope.
I ain't going out there. Yeah, I'm not going out there. Yeah, I'm not going out there by myself. You do it. God, it's like little things like I actually, you know, I feel like kids should be scared of shit like that though. As a kid, like they need to be exposed to that, because otherwise they build like those having those little fears. You know what I mean? Like kids are a little too sheltered.
It's a different era for kids. Like they're not even scared of zombies no more. Like
I know. Like bro, do you remember like
funny to them?
Do you remember the first time watching like a Romero zombie movie as a kid and it scared the shit out of you?
Hell yeah. Yeah, I think Night of the Living Dead Part 2 was the one I saw.
The
brains in the basement scared the fuck out of me.
But that was Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah, that one scared me. Scared me like a motherfucker.
That one actually wasn't a Romero movie, funny enough. That was actually like a spin-off that some people just randomly made.
Yeah, I saw that shit as a kid, man. That shit scared me, man. But
dude, honestly,
I don't know.
Like I think the one movie that scared me the most as a child, believe it or not, the first Tremors. Remember that movie with Kevin Bacon? With the worms?
That didn't scare me as a kid. That didn't scare me
as
a kid.
Dude, for like 3 months I wouldn't walk on soft ground when I first saw that movie.
I think my sister was scared of it, but I wasn't really that scared of it. Like, the movie that scared me as a kid was It.
Ooh, yeah, no, I saw that as a kid too. That scared the shit out of me as well.
It scared me, and The Shining scared me.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the Jack Nicholson Shining that scared me. It was the remake they did. That's the one that scared me.
Really?
Yeah. And that's the funny part to a lot of people. They're like, it wasn't Jack. I'm like, Jack Nicholson wasn't scared of me. He was just like the drunk uncle you have. Like, he was scared like that. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, when they did that remake, yeah, that shit scared the fuck out of me. Because they had the special effects at that point, so you could actually see the hedges moving. The lady in the bathtub was way more animated and scary.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it scared me more when they did the remake.
Yeah. Have you seen the new? Have you seen the It remake or the new one that just came out, the part 2 for it in theaters or no?
No, I have not. No, not yet. It's on my list though.
I heard part 2 isn't as good as the first because it's like a little slow and it's like way longer. It's like 3 hours, I guess.
Well, that's the story of the original. The first part is the best one, and the second part was kind of hit or miss with a lot of people.
Yeah.
With the original, so.
And plus, Tim Curry as It, as Pennywise was awesome.
Yeah, it was. I didn't see the original It remake because I felt like the original was so iconic. I didn't want to see the original.
Well, that's the thing. The original TV movie that ABC did for that with Tim Curry. That was more it was a horror, but it felt like it was also a comedy. Like this one, while the remake is a straight up horror film.
There was nothing funny about that first It Part 1. There was nothing funny about that shit.
Yeah, but as an adult, you watch it, there is shit that is funny. Like you realize now because you were too scared as a child to notice it. But as an adult, when you go back and watch it, you'll realize, oh, this is actually there's some shit about this that's funny when you weren't terrified.
Part two of the original was funny to me as an adult.
Oh yeah, especially when he's fucking with them in the library, he's making all that noise.
Yeah, shit like that. Yeah, that shit was that was funny to me. But like I said, I'm cool with going to see this one in the theater.
You gotta watch the first. Watch part 1 first, because part 1's actually a really good remake.
Ah man, I don't know, man, because it's like I don't know, like these remakes, like now I got the Charlie's Angels remake out, and I feel a way about that shit.
Oh fuck Charlie's Angels anyway. Those fucking 2 movies were dumb anyway. They were fun, but they were dumb.
Hold up, no. The second one was dumb. The first one was good though.
I mean, in a way, in a lot of ways it was, but in a lot of other ways it was kind of fucking stupid.
What was dumb about the first one? I would never defend the second one, but I will defend the first one.
It was corny action slot. That's the thing. Like, objectively, it is a bad movie.
I like the first one. The second one I thought was whack, but the first one, I'm like, yeah, the first one was cool.
Like, I remember, bits and pieces. There was, the bald dude that was, that kept ripping off their hair and shit like that. And then, there was the scene where Drew Barrymore was naked, which I think I liked as a kid, but, other than that... Oh, and Sam Rockwell was the villain.
I can't think about it. So, bald dude ripping off the hair. I'm trying to remember who that is.
Bill Murray was in it.
Yeah, but it wasn't no bald dude in the first one ripping off the hair. That's probably the second one you're thinking of.
No, I'm talking about the guy who kept ripping off the girl's hairs. Remember when he kept keeping it and smelling it and shit?
Oh, yeah.
Psycho dude.
Yeah. Okay, I know you're talking about now. Yeah, he was in there. But he was the psycho dude. He was the creepy thin man. That was his thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they got to part 2, that's when they fucked up his character. Because in the first one, he was just a psychopath, but in the second one, they made him some bullshit, I don't know, but that's where they fucked up his character. But he was dope in the first one. They did a whole Ocelot with him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ocelot was so dope, and then you get to the last game, and they explain his origin story and his bullshit. Yeah, that's what they do with the creepy thin man. In the first one, he was dope, but in the second one, they explained it with some bullshit and fucked it up.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was one of the best characters they had in the first one. Bill Murray as Bosley was cool.
Bill Murray
was cool.
Bill Murray. Well, to be fair, Bill Murray's pretty dope in any movie he's in, but.
Yeah, he was good as Bosley. Him and Bernie Mac, but I prefer Bill Murray as Bosley.
Yeah, Bernie Mac was a different. Well, don't forget, he was also a different character. Because remember, they even said in the movie that was his brother.
Right. And it was cool. It was cool. But it was Bill Murray or Bernie Mac. Give me Bill Murray as Bosley.
Although I will say, what was the one joke that Bernie Mac had in it? When they're at the port with the Irish people, goes, "Well, you never heard of a black Irish?" And they go, "No, I never heard of a black Irish." Like all the Irish dudes, they're just talking shit to him.
See, the second one, that's a repressed memory to me. And it's I tried to rewatch it to make myself like it. But outside that opening scene, I'm like, nah, I'm good, man. This ain't the move, man. But the first one, I'll defend that first one. I'll defend the first one because you can see some of the movies that ripped it off. Yeah, the first movie, some of the movies ripped off were ripping off the style of the first one.
Mm-hmm. You know what's one that I gotta see? Well, that we should talk about. What do you think about the Bad Boys sequel finally coming out after 15 fucking years?
I'm happy as fucking hell, man.
But I feel like it's too late. Like that's a movie they should have made like.
I'm gonna be there open tonight.
My problem is though, like they should have gotten like Martin Lawrence before he actually started to look like Big Mama in real life, because he got fucking fat.
I swear, man,
but I'm still gonna be there, man. It's Bad Boys now.
I'm gonna wait and see what the reviews are first. Wait, is Michael Bay doing this one? Is Michael Bay doing this one as well, or no?
He better be. He better be. And I'm never a campaign for Michael Bay to do anything, but I mean, you can't have him do the first two and then he don't do the third one. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I just wonder how many cars they gonna tear up, because
Bad Boys 2. Bad Boys 2 was actually, I would say, pretty much better than the first one in every way, though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Bad Boys 3. I can't wait for that movie to come out. I'm gonna be probably first, second, or third day to see that.
That probably was one of my favorite action sequences when they get in that shootout with the Cuban military. Bro, that whole fucking end of that movie was phenomenal. That last half hour, I could watch that over and over.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm good with Bad Boys 3 coming out. I'm not good with this Charlie's Angels film coming out though.
See, I didn't even know about that. That to me, that's just fucking stupid.
It's not that. It's just the concept alone in this era.
It's too. Even then, like it's from the fucking 70s. Like that shit's outdated too.
I worked in 2000 because it was.
Well, yeah, don't forget that was kind of really, when you think about it, that was kind of the like up until like 2003. That was kind of the end of the 90s, really, when you think about it.
The thing to me about it, why it worked, was in that era, you know, you got these extremely hot chicks beating the shit out of dudes, and it worked, and it was done it was well done, you know.
And also who they picked to play the roles.
Yeah, and they cast them perfectly. It's like, but this one, it's like you just don't feel the female side of it enough, at least based off the trailers. But it's like, yeah, you know, women can be strong, they can whoop a dude ass, they can do anything. We get that, but there's a lot of shit women can do that men can't do. And it's like, when you watch the original, you saw them using both. You know, it was more of a balance. But this one, I don't know. They have some Sons of Anarchy shit. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Well, that was like when they did that recent remake of Charmed. Like, why?
Right.
Like, why the fuck would you?
I didn't see that.
I mean, I didn't care for it. I mean, I thought Charmed was okay as a show. But like, other than that,
yeah,
like
it wasn't this blockbuster, you know, show like Buffy the Vampire Slayer was.
No, it was really a spin. It wasn't even a spin-off. It was like hey, like Buffy works, let's do this. It was one of those.
It was good for its time, yeah.
Because
certain shit from back then, you just can't.
Yeah.
I mean, you can remake it, but it's not gonna be nowhere near as good because
well, here, like, have you watched?
Much has changed.
Have you watched that new Sabrina show on Netflix?
Nah, not yet.
It's totally different from like the old sitcom. That
may actually be a good thing.
It's like, very dark.
The sitcom was cool, but
yeah, but like it's totally different. Like for instance, like the cat Salem is actually played by a real cat. It's not like a cat that talks to her. It's a cat that meows and shit. Like it's a real black cat they use in it, and it's very dark in tone. It focuses a lot more on the witchcraft and like the. Well, I mean, they're not real. I mean, like they're like what like people think in pop culture are witches.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a pop culture witch, but like in an evil sense.
Right. That actually sounds kind of dope. See, if you're doing it,
it's okay.
Cool,
I'm on like season 2.
Mm-hmm. But it's like when you take a show like, let's say Xena Warrior Princess. Xena Warrior Princess is good for its time.
Yeah, same with Hercules.
Reboot it for now, it wouldn't work. Yeah. What's another? Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Legendary show, but if you were to reboot,
they're remaking that, I heard.
It's not gonna be the same, man.
No.
Just because it's like in real life, man. We watch Me Too beat the shit out of dudes, even innocent dudes, for the last 4 or 5 years, man. We don't need a movie to watch dudes get beat up no more, man. Come on.
Yeah. Honestly, I would say even going like to Angel and all that, like Buffy and Angel. I thought Angel was the better show.
Yeah. I think that's how it usually is. Like
it just had a better. It had a no, not even like as far as like just it connects better with guys. It was just all around a better written show.
Yeah, but that's just what I've noticed. It's like both shows are good. You know, we're not saying one show's whack. Both shows were good. It's just when I
Yeah.
talk to most women, majority of women, not all women, but majority prefer Buffy. And
Oh
then it's
yeah.
like when you talk to most men will pick Angel over Buffy.
Yeah. Well, Angel also had a Angel's story was a little weirder, and Buffy was a little more fun in games.
Yeah, Angel had a more serious, darker tone to him because the characters on the show had more serious stories to them.
Yeah. I think it had a better cast too.
They had its goofy moments. They had its goofy moments here and there. But
Yeah. Although I will say one of the best episodes of Buffy though was that what was that? Remember that one demon with that made him? It was like the whole episode was a sing along. Remember that? It was a musical. Because that demon that was like one of the best episodes.
And no one expected it to be good, but it was actually really good.
Yeah.
Had Spike singing some song or some shit. I still remember that shit. He had the best song that episode.
Yeah, the whole thing was the demons the demon was trying to trick them into singing themselves to death. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny, but with
although
Angel,
to be fair though, Buffy the TV show wouldn't have existed if the '92 film wasn't so successful.
Yeah, the '92 film was still good.
And that's thinking like other. Yeah, well, not even that though. It's like if you tell someone about that movie now that watched the show and they didn't know about it, they would go, "What the fuck are you talking about? It was based on a movie? What?" They go, "Yeah, it came out in 1992."
Like I remember that too.
Like I think
replay that movie all the time.
Oh yeah, I think people forgot about honestly, I think a lot of people forgot about the movie.
Because the movie came out around the same time as Clueless did.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to always run them back to back.
Yep. Although I will say, I think Sarah Michelle Gellar though is still a phenomenal actress, and she did play that role really well.
Oh yeah.
It's sad. Actually, I'm kind of sad I don't see her much in much movies and shit anymore though. Because like actually, she aged pretty well too.
Oh.
Actually, you know who she? You know who she married?
Who?
Remember when she played Velma in the live-action Scooby-Doo movie?
Mm-hmm.
She married Freddie Prinze Jr., the dude who played Fred.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they
heard about that.
Yeah, no, they've been married since those movies came out. Because Freddie doesn't do acting anymore, I guess. He's a writer for WWE.
Oh, that is odd.
Yeah, I found that shit out recently. And I guess Matthew Lillard, the dude who played Shaggy, did such a good role of it. He's been the voice of Shaggy in the cartoons ever since.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job as Shaggy.
Yeah, dude, he was Shaggy. I gotta go back and watch those fucking movies now.
That's another movie where it wasn't the best movie in the world, but
it worked.
At the time, it felt dope.
Well, actually, dude, I'll have to send you the video about it. Apparently, James Gunn, who wrote the Guardians movies, you know, like James Gunn had a really weird sense of humor, like edgy kind of sense of humor. When the live-action Scooby-Doo was out, that was actually supposed to be an adult sex comedy.
Oh.
Yeah, it was meant for like the kids that grew up. That was meant for the kids who grew up watching Scooby-Doo, like for them to watch as adults.
I find that funny.
It's great. That's hysterical. I actually would have and apparently a lot of those jokes translated into the movie too, like the humor of it. But like they just toned it down for kids.
Yeah, you can tell, especially with Scrappy Doo being on Daphne.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like a lot of the sexual jokes like that make sense now. Like now that you're older, that went over our heads as kids.
Yeah.
Although you're a few years older than me, so you might have been like in your early teens at the time.
Yeah, I was in my early teens when Scooby dropped.
Wait, how old are you now?
31.
Okay, so you're like I'm 27, so you got a few years on me. Oh man, there's a lot of movies I had to go back and watch like my childhood. I got some actually on Blu-ray. Up until then, I haven't seen the movie in forever. I got The Fifth Element on Blu-ray. I fucking love that movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies I want to watch. Definitely that I want to go back and rewatch. I want to watch Mission Impossible 2 again. That was a big
See, that's the thing. I'd have to go back and watch them because I don't really remember the original Mission Impossible movies.
3, I kind of want to rewatch again, just because I never actually sat through it solely. So,
like, I don't know, my memory of those films is like so, like so little.
The first one you should. That's one to remember. The first one, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I can get them on Blu-ray for cheap. Actually, that's another set. I mean, I shouldn't have watched them as a kid, but I did. I had to go back and watch like the first two Rambos.
Mm-hmm.
What's some other shit I gotta go back and watch? There's a few of those movies. I've seen Die Hard a million times. Actually, I think I've seen the third one more than all the other Die Hard films. Because it was always on TV the most.
Mm-hmm. So Freddie Prinze Jr. writes for WWE. I'm gonna troll the fuck out his ass now. If they write one bad thing about Sasha Banks, they write her character wrong one more fucking time. If they write Becky wrong, I'm going to fuck off on him. He probably gonna block me on Twitter.
Probably. It's funny, like
they've been doing a okay job with those two.
But that's the thing, I don't watch wrestling though, so you'd have that has to be your territory.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm watching it this Sunday. Sasha better be Becky. I'm gonna be mad.
You always got a hard on for her.
Yeah, she's the best.
Yeah, because yeah, because I remember like a long time ago, my friend wanted to talk to you about that shit, and she never got a chance to.
Oh.
That was a long time ago. That was a couple years ago.
Yeah, it was some years ago, but yeah. All these years ago, no one's even surpassed her yet, so... There's just certain casts like that, man, you know?
Did they do a movie about her?
They're doing one tonight about her.
No, like, wasn't there like an actual movie that they did about her? It had like the dude from Shaun of the Dead in it?
No.
Who am I thinking of? It was
Paige.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm thinking of. Yes, yeah, so I go show you like what I remember from fucking wrestling. Like I remember Undertaker, I remember him and Kane being brothers or some bullshit like that. And like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. That's all I remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because those are the big superstars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're not gonna get, you know, a casual person to look at it if you don't have a superstar.
Yeah.
Superstars only come around like you may get one every 10 years or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of them. So yeah, her and Becky. But on the men's side, ain't that many men superstars these days. But on the women's side, yeah, it's like the soccer team now, basically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, well, think of it. Who's John Cena's not wrestling anymore, right? Because like
John
he was.
Trash.
I know, but like,
Trash.
but don't forget though, wrestling is mainly targeted for children though too, and he was the most popular.
Yeah, amongst 5-year-olds, yeah. But it's like with Hogan, Rock, and Taker, man, grown men can watch them and be cool. It didn't matter what age you were, you know. But with Cena's trash.
I think actually it's funny that I think about that though. Like when you think of like people who actually had successful careers after wrestling, like it was him and The Rock that did the best. Like especially The Rock.
Oh yeah, there's no going.
And Cena does a lot of shit. Oh, go ahead.
No, I still haven't seen Hobbs and Shaw, the new Fast and Furious movie.
See, I stopped caring about the Fast and Furious movies though. I don't think I've watched a Fast and Furious movie since like not Tokyo Drift, the one after that.
Oh yeah, that one was kind of that one was.
No, I just didn't care for him that much. For some reason, like those movies just never resonated with me.
That fourth one is probably the worst Fast and Furious movie.
Although, actually, I'll take that back because I did like Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo Drift was okay. It was okay. It wasn't bad. Wasn't, you know, the greatest thing in the world, but it was okay.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was a fun movie.
And I think, and now that I think about it too, like remember we were talking about the Bow Wow curse? I think everyone didn't have a fucking career after that except for the main kid. Because he does a lot of TV shows and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, Bow Wow fucks up everybody's career.
Yep.
That poor, what was that? Who was that white girl he did that one song with years ago? Remember what was her name?
Oh, Bow Wow. No,
Yeah,
Bow Wow and JoJo.
that's who it was. You never heard from her again after that fucking song came out.
That's true. That's another person who needs to go on the list.
Isn't he like a producer? Isn't Bow Wow a producer now?
I don't know about that.
I think he's a producer now.
I hope not.
Because there was a couple kids like that back then that were trying to get back in. Like, who was remember Little Romeo? Who was his? Wasn't his dad Grandmaster Flash?
No, Master P.
Master P, that's who it was. Yeah, like that's the only thing I go from. That was his dad, and like he had a couple like big songs, but like other than that, he didn't like really do anything.
His dad Master P. That boy shouldn't have been doing shit to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad Master P. You don't have to work, bro. Your grandkids don't have to work. Your dad Master P.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if you're good with smart with your money, yeah, you won't have to.
Yeah.
You know how kids are, though.
Yeah, I ain't mad at him. But I'm gonna head out though, dog.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
All right.
I'll catch you around, man.
All right, man.
We'll end the show now. Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah.